This here is the 1994 Toyota Hiace, an Australian and Japanese legend. Now these cars, they're great utilitarian vehicles, extremely reliable and extremely capable, but the people who should buy them, like tradies, never seem to. More or less you find older people like your dad maybe owning a Toyota Hiace. The working class heroes of Australia tend to lean towards these vehicles. And why is that? And why is it that hippies love them? And why is it that tradies don't go near them? Maybe it's the looks, who knows. But today I'm going to go over everything to do with this car, from driving it, the interior, the exterior, and the tech, and how safe it is. And at the end we're going to see what actually goes wrong with these Toyota Hiaces, which I don't think is much because it's a Toyota. Now, like I said, this is a 1994 one, but let's be honest, it's a van. They all basically look the same, from basically the 80s all the way into the new ones. They all kind of look identical. What did change is the options. So this one is just your generic 2.4 litre petrol engine, manual rear wheel drive. But you know, there were a lot of different options of these. You had the long wheelbases, short wheelbases, most were $3 like this one is. It came in manual, some were auto. There was a diesel one as well, which wasn't too bad, but generally they're all the same, you know. They've all got really basic interiors, they're really hard wearing, and they're just reliable vehicles. Because of that reliability, you typically see these getting around as taxis. People love living in them because the base is so long, you can just get a bed in there and go camping, go around Australia. And because of that badge right there, you know you're going to come back from the other side of Australia in one piece. It's just a great vehicle. This one in particular has 490,000 kilometers and still runs extremely well. We'll get into that later. But other than that, this is a manual version, the petrol version, which I think is better. And I just think, you know what, for what it is, very nice vehicle. I can see why people love these things. Now, going over the exterior, well, do I even need to? It's a box, it's a tissue box. Now that means it's extremely practical if you're the right person. We'll get into the practical side of things a little later. Put it this way, say you're making the perfect car. You got one category, looks, another one, practicality, other one, sportiness, another one, reliability. Toyota just went, you know what? Let's put all our budget into practicality and all of it into reliability. And that's exactly what this is. Yeah, it doesn't look pretty. The front end's off. You know, this is the entire front side of the car. But you know what? It gets the job done. Now, because of that, it's a bit older, you know, and utilitarian. A lot of people did use these as delivery trucks. So when you're buying one, I would look out for old stickers that say post office, whatever. Because you don't want something that's been flogged around the city all day. Because obviously these have no driver's aids, doesn't even have power steering. They get knocked around, doors open on them. Just be careful of stuff like that. And you know, even the paint, like this is a very hard wearing paint. It's clearly original. If you want to check out me fixing this paint up, link in the bio or in my YouTube channel. But you know, this paint doesn't even have clear coat. So you're not going to find that sun damage per se and peeling, but just look around for rust, because rust is a serious issue on these cars, especially around the window edges. As you can see, I fixed this one up roughly. And because they're older cars, people don't want to spend money on them. So watch out for those dodgy, weird jobs. Just look around the car, keep your eyes open for rust. It's usually really obvious if it has it. Other than looking out for rust, you want to look for things like these, bull bars. Now this one looks like it's installed properly. Toyota did install some from factory, but people love installing shitty aftermarket modifications that just age horrifically. Other than that, you see a lot of people go camping in these, and again, they install things to go along with camping really poorly, and it just ages terribly. It's just something to keep an eye out on. And if you install it wrong, you're going to find rust spots in that for the age of the car. The interior is just like the exterior. Practical. Now what I mean by that is there's no bullshit, you know. It's just exactly as you see it. It's hard wearing. Like this looks probably as it would have 20, 30 years ago. The interior is just like the exterior. Practical. Now what I mean by that is there's no bullshit, you know. It's just exactly as you see it. It's hard wearing. Like this looks probably as it would have 20, 30 years ago. Now obviously seats aren't clean, and you know, steering wheel has a bit of signs of wear, but realistically everything still works in here. That's because it's hard for things to break. You got manual windows, no central locking, no AC, no power steering. It's a manual handbrake. What can really go wrong? Nothing really. So it's just hard wearing, hard plastics. There's nothing that screams luxury in this car at all. But what there is you can spill your coffee on the ground and clean it up. You can destroy the seats. If you're a smoker, you can swing in the car and not give a shit, you know? It's hard wearing. If you're a painter, you get a bit of paint on the joint. No one gives a shit. Doesn't matter. That's hard wearing practicality interior. Now, as far as driving position goes, and like for the driver, there's not much. Like obviously it's all very accessible, it's all within arm's reach, but you know, this seat, it's tight. I'm only 5'9", and you know, you could barely fit 3 people comfortably in this. It's a very soft seat. You know, there's not much room between everyone, but like, you know, you got an place to rest your arm. It's easy to drive. It's just comfortable, but for the right person. Like I can't push the seat any further back than this because I've got the board there, and you know, I can't go much forward, but there's plenty of leg room. It's all right, you know, there's not much to it. Like, it's a simple car to drive. You don't really have to think that hard. Literally, the tech is as simple as this. It's got a really, really basic radio, which is AM, FM. I don't even know if it's AM. You can't put any CDs in it. You can't put a cassette. Nothing. That's it. Other than that, you have your climate control, which has an AC, but realistically, none of them are going to work on these cars. Manual windows, no power steering. You know, even this gearbox, I double clutch everything. Up gears, down shifts, everything. Double clutch everything. Got an ashtray. It doesn't even have an RPM gauge, so it's a manual with no RPM gauge. You know, it tells you how much fuel you have, how hot the engine is. That's it. That's literally it. But what that does mean is nothing's going to break. So if you buy one of these, you're not having to worry, shit, I'm going to need a new window regulator. You don't need one. Your window regulator is your arm, you know? But it's just basic, which I kind of like. I love these about these old cars, you know? You know it's going to start, you know it's going to run, you know nothing's going to break. Is it practical? It's a van. You can sleep in it, take it around Australia, like I touched on. People love these things. But it's not just a simple yes. And you know why? It's because it's a 3-seater only. Now these did come out as taxis, which could fit like 7 people. But realistically, most people are buying these, and it's only practical to a degree. Obviously, if you take it around Australia and go on a long drive, you've got to be keen. It's loud on the freeways, it's not great on fuel. You know, it's going to be reliable, but you and your buddy, you're going to be tight. It's just a lot going on. Like I said, it's a great working vehicle, but that's it. Maybe tradies don't like these because they want their 4-wheel drives that they can take off-road and, you know, do whatever they want to do. This thing is a 2.4 litre manual, carbureted as well, so it means it gets pretty shit fuel economy and it makes shit power. I think this makes 80 kilowatts at the wheels and 196 newton meters of torque. That's not much. So around town, you're basically always flat out. The gearbox isn't great to use. It's not a great driving experience. No power steering, you know, you're going to struggle to park. So in that sense, it's not practical. But then there's a sense of you can park it anywhere. You're not going to give a shit if someone dings your door or whatever. So it goes both ways. It really depends on who you are. It's not a simple yes or no. In my circumstances, I don't think I need a van, so it's not very practical for me. I'd rather a wagon or something a bit nicer to drive. Something that's like an AC and electric windows. It's a bit more practical to me. But for someone who just wants to paint shit, have their gear in the back, go fishing, go motorcycle riding, you can do that and you don't have to worry about this car. It'll take you where you need to be, to a degree. As far as the interior's practicality is concerned, it's all right. You know, obviously I touched on this a bit before, but you know, you don't have any cup holders, for example. You know, there's not much space. You got a bit of room down here. You got a glove box room up there, but you know, that's really it. You know, you got all the basic essentials, but so does every car basically. And, you know, like I said, no power steering. You're trying to park. There's no drive aids. There's like no traction control. Nothing. It really is just you and the car, and some people absolutely love that. So what goes wrong? You know, as a Toyota, not much, and especially these older ones. Everyone says it. You want a reliable car? Get a 90s Toyota. They basically all share the same shit, and you know, this one's standard the test of time. There's a reason you still see these getting around absolutely everywhere. It's because they just don't die. You start them, they'll drive, no matter what. This one's carbureted, 500,000 kilometers on it, and it still runs and drives like a dream. There's something about driving this. Like I'm yelling to a camera right there because I have to. But you know, I'm going up a hill, flat foot, 3rd gear, 40 k's an hour. Get to the top of the hill, easy and forth. You know what? It's alright. If you can get around the noise, you know, it's actually fairly comfortable. A lot of rattles. Downshifting. You know, I don't trust these brakes greatly, so I don't mind downshifting towards the stops. But, you know, this is the type of car you just want to, like I'm at a roundabout, I want to look both ways because if I crash, I'm done. driving around. Gotta take it nice and easy. Now this is a car you want to take it easy on the brakes too. Start braking early because you never know. And always double check. There's zero safety shit in this, as I've said. Now you're always conscious in a car like this of the safety because your knees are basically in the crash zone. So if you have a crash, your knees are taking the impact, you know. And you know, you are aware of that. Like this bus, I'm going to make sure it's actually turning. Yep. On I go. Once you're moving, you know, the power steering sucks, but obviously it doesn't have any, but once you're driving, it's alright. Obviously nice and easy on the gearbox, no need to rush anything. Oh mate, on his electric bike. You know, it's alright. No need to speed. Get on it a bit. There's a newer Hiace. Hey, nice Hiace, mate. See, Victoria University using him as a shuttle bus because that's what they're good for. You know, I'm sure this might have been used for that back in the day. I know they'll use for taxis, but yeah, it's alright, you know. Not much to a car like this. I'm fairly comfortable, you know, got my arm lying down. Like as far as driving, you know, it's alright. Coming up to a hill, you know, I'm doing 10 under here, but get on a bit. Guy behind me doesn't seem to be caring too much about that though. A lot of people like these, you know, Ford vans and Toyota Hiace. Hey mate, how you going? Anyway, people going for the Ford Careers, and you know, they're a solid van as well. But I think, you know, this is all the space you need. Comfortable, I can see pretty well, good viewing. It's piss easy to park. You know, there's no driver aids as far as traction control, but as long as you're onto it, you're careful. I think learning manual and driving in a car like this sets you up to be a great driver. Because you can't rely on traction control, or you got nothing. Even your throttle placement for cruising on the freeway, you got to learn to maintain speed because you don't have cruise control. You know, these are things people don't really learn anymore. Obviously this one is very high kilometer, so you know, there could be 94 ones that are a bit less rattly, you know, drive a bit better, but you know, you'll find a lot of these have a lot of kilometers because they just keep going. And when I was looking at car sales, sorry, I'm on a garbage road here. That's better. Like I was saying, like you look at car sales, I was looking for the stats of this car. There's not many for sale, and I would say 85% of them that are for sale have campers, or you know, they're made for work. Like people have customized it and kept them like that rather than bring it back to standard because people like that stuff. It's attractive, it increases the value. And as far as value is concerned, you know, it's actually quite a valuable car for what it is, you know. Because they just last forever. You know, you're getting that reliability and people love them. There's not even that many on car sales because people just like to keep them. Nice Hiace, mate. Yeah, he knows what's up. Anyway, but yeah, you know, they're just good cars. They hold their value. You know, people use them for absolutely everything. They just go forever. Like this Hyundai, you know, I'm sure it's a good car now, but when this is 35 years old or 30 years old like this one is, I don't think you're going to be setting them around like you do with these. Like this still runs really well. There's not even a knock in the suspension, nothing. The only fault is the rust, which any car would have if it's parked outside for this long. It doesn't even smoke out the back. Like I don't know if you can see out the back there, but never smokes, it doesn't seem to burn any oil. I just did a service on it. You can check that video out if you'd like. And you know, it had full oil in it and it hadn't been serviced in ages. That means it's not leaking shit, burning shit. Coolant, you know, it's very stable on the temperature. It gets up to temperature nice and fast. It's just a good car. Just a good, reliable daily car. I'm gonna go down here. You know, around a corner like this, I take it easy. If something keeps telling me it's gonna roll over, probably never would, but I just like to be safe.